welcome back to my channel. My name is Shoshana, and I want to talk a little bit about why we isolate ourselves during the spiritual awakening. So, if you've been following me, you know that for the last few weeks, I haven't really uploaded very much. I've kind of been going through a stage of purging in myself. I've also been on this spiritual awakening, which has been a roller coaster. And right now, it feels like it's been going quicker and quicker. The further along I get on this, it used to be that I would fall into one of these little holes and I could stay there for a really long time. And now it seems like as I go through this and as we go through this, because we're a collective going through this together, it keeps going quicker and quicker. And I think that it also has to do with the energies on the planet in general. Everything now seems to be moving so quickly, but also as an individual, because we've already been doing the work for so long, we already start seeing the trends of it, the patterns of it. We know that the deeper that we go, um, the 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 deeper the valleys, the higher the mountains. So when we really and we already know how to surrender into these deep, deep purges. So whenever we go into one of these purges, we know how to allow it to move through us and know how to move through it within ourselves, and then come out of it the other end quicker. And we also don't get stuck so much. But I wanted to talk about why we isolate ourselves. So why, as we go through this, we start losing friends and things that are less important to fall away. We don't really have patience, and not in a way of pushing against or anything. We just really don't have patience for things that aren't important. We kind of prioritize things around our spiritual awakening, and I think that as things start falling away, as our old behaviors, our old patterns, our old belief systems, things start falling away, it leaves us quite vulnerable. It leaves us quite open. All of our emotions become very, very raw. We're going deep into the depths of ourselves and becoming very, very open and vulnerable in those places. So not only vulnerable, but the more vulnerable we become, the stronger we become as well. So it's kind of a paradox of sort. But as we go deeper and our emotions are more open, we seem to choose who we let come in. It's kind of like what Yeshua said about don't throw your pearls in front of swine. Like you don't allow everyone to see everything that is going on within you. You choose carefully, and it becomes it becomes so there's such a deep knowing. Your heart is broken wide open, and there's such a deep knowing and depth to who you become, and a deep knowing of who you are, that you don't really have time or patience um, for things that are either lost causes, like when there's such a gap between where you are and where you used to be and the people in your life that used to be relevant. There's a massive gap there. There is a gap sometimes that is unbridgeable, and you can recognize that, especially people that you have moved away from them emotionally, or you have, um, I want to say, moved beyond. um, spiritually, like the places that you have gotten to, the depths that you have gotten to are so far away from where you used to be and where you used to connect with people, that and you can see that the gap there is so big that there is no bridge in between you and them anymore. And they're not in a place, and not in a way of being judgmental, but they are not in a place where they can comprehend where you're at. So it's like you can only see what is in your capability of seeing. So you have to be in close enough proximity to it to be able to comprehend it. So when there are people that have fallen out of our lives that come at us with um the old arguments that just aren't relevant for us anymore, we've moved so far beyond that, and you can see that where they are at, because we have done the work and done the path and walked that path, and we are, let's say, 20 miles ahead of them on the road. They can't see what we can see from where we stand, and from where they stand they can't see it. So you understand that you have no draw. There is no You have no patience or no draw even to try to explain to them what you can see from where you stand, because you realize that it's falling on deaf ears. It's falling on, um, it's like throwing your pearl in front of swine. It's like bringing something that is so divine up for discussion with people that just cannot comprehend it and do not see the divinity of it, and they are arguing against it when and it feels almost like it's painful. It becomes painful, and you feel like you want to be protective. This is why we're coming back to why we isolate ourselves. You want to be protective of the divinity that you have found. You don't it's not up for discussion. I had a conversation with a girlfriend not too long ago, and she is quite quite a ways along on her, also in her spiritual awakening and going through herself. But I don't even remember what the subject was because it's not relevant. But there was a subject that I was talking about, and she kept on trying to argue this point. And I said to her, finally, listen, what I'm speaking about is not up for debate. This is a monologue. It's not a conversation. I am sharing with you something that I have found within myself, and it's not up for debate. I'm not trying to see a different point of view. I just want to share with you where I'm at. And I didn't mean it in a way of being disrespectful, and I didn't mean it in a way of, but the points that she was arguing were just not relevant to where I was. And she couldn't see the point uh, of which I was making. And I think that at some point I kind of left the conversation. That's also why we become so isolated, why we become so alone, because this path is individual. Each and every one of us is going through the depths of our own selves. There is no other person in the universe that is exactly who I am, and who has had the same life experiences, and who is the same makeup and naturally has the same um, archetypes, or the same sides of God, or whatever you want to call it, who has the same makeup as me and been through the same experiences. So the things that I am working through within myself are very, very unique and individual, one of a kind. And when we get to the depths of our soul, there is no one else besides us that can understand that. There is no one else besides us that can be in those depths with us other than the Messiah, perhaps. um, and so, this journey of self realization is a very private and individual journey. It is a journey of isolation, and we break ourselves so wide open that I think that a lot of times we don't want the noise in there, because when there's so much noise and so much racket on top of it, it interferes from hearing those. They say that God speaks in whispers within, from your very depths. If you're very, very, very silent, you can hear your own God essence from within speaking with you, your intuition, your instincts. It doesn't matter what you call it. And when there's so much noise outside of you, we're a vibrational being, and we're going back to our very, very core vibration. And this is a very, very, very delicate process. It needs quiet in order to um, complete the process, or it needs you need quiet in order to hear your inner whispers, your inner vibrations. So a lot of times we close people out and they don't understand, and we also lose interest in having others understand, because we see that it just isn't relevant to us. Whether somebody else understands or doesn't understand has nothing to do with us. When we are looking internally and we are finding these tiny little Pandora boxes that are so deep inside of us that no other human, no other person, no other being can understand the depth of it, it becomes irrelevant. And when somebody keeps pushing and trying to get in there and trying to understand and trying to comfort you, even, you know, we we're not looking to be comforted. We're looking to uncover those wounds so that we can look at them. We're looking to sometimes you have to get all the pus out of there, and getting the pus out is very, very painful. And so this is why we isolate ourselves during the spiritual awakening. So I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you for being with me.